Welcome to One Take Weekly. What do you think of that name? I've been using it a couple of times now. I wanted to gauge reactions.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea of making it a word based on film, like we were talking about, like after credits or
like One Take, for example.
Yeah, but that would be confusing if the name of our YouTube channel is One Take and the name of our weekly live stream was One Take.
Welcome to this week's episode of One Take.
One Take's One Take.
For anybody new here, I'm Gil, the voice of One Take. I always say the voice of One Take, but I feel like, not to boast, that kind of undersells my role on the channel, right?
Yeah, I actually do all the writing. Gil just reads it.
You just reminded me of, okay, I'm going to tell an anecdote.
That's fast.
And then, yeah, let's finish the introductions, and then I want to tell an anecdote about you writing.
No.
So like I said, I'm Gil. That's my brother, Alon, who's changed sponsors from Adidas to Under Armour.
That's right.
And then this is my other brother, Daniel.
Hi.
Adam? Oh.
Adam.
Not here. Okay, so that was not a knock at Adam, by the way. Like, he's busy right now. I don't want him to watch this later and be like, why are you giving me a hard time? You know?
He's not going to watch it.
He's like...
Just kidding. He might.
He's like one of those guest starring characters. So when they show up, you get really excited. But if they were on every episode, it would just suck. Right? All right. By the way, shout out to Cole Schramm and a special shout out to KFP. I believe it's after 2 a.m. for him right now. So he's diligent about joining every live stream. So shout out. And he also requested a particular topic for us to discuss. And recently, we doubled our Patreon subscribers from 1 to 2. We do have a Patreon. It's just not something we advertise or put out there that much because we kind of created it a long time ago.
I'm going to go ahead and advertise it.
All right, go ahead. Right now, there are no stated benefits, but there are some kind of unspoken, intangible benefits. For example, KFP requested we discuss a certain topic, and we're going to talk about it because he's a Patreon subscriber. So there's the plug. Yeah, funny anecdote about Alon. Back in the day, you were working on some paper, or I didn't even get a call. It was kind of like a classic Jimmy and Chuck situation where Jimmy needs help, but he won't go to Chuck. He calls his mom and says, I need Chuck's help. And then she calls him. So I get a call from my mom and she's like, you should talk to Alon. Like, he's got this big assignment. Hey, he needs help. And I go over.
I told her about that. I'm surprised I even told her.
Might be crossing wires from like different stories, but there was definitely an assignment where I got a call from my mom that was like, Alon needs help. So I go over and I talk to you, and you have this big paper due the next day. And it's like a 6-page paper. And I read over what you've written. There was at least...
Sorry, I think it was 14, but I wrote 7.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds right, actually. What I remember is that there was one entire page that was a quote. It was like, to quote the great blah, blah, blah.
I think and then it was just spaced,
open quote, a page and a half later, end quote.
Listen, it was for an art history class. I had to take a lot of art history classes, and I truly felt it was completely unrelated to my major.
Yeah.
So it just felt completely unfair to me.
Somewhere your art history teacher's watching this, and he just spit all over his screen like, what? Did you write that?
Alon can't complain about these classes being unfair. This is the same guy that was making Ninja Turtles during his art class.
Oh, another story. I mean, listen, let's say one per episode.
All right,
I have a lot of stories.
Years ago, the first time we tried to record a podcast, it just ended up being about an hour of stories of Alon's academic experiences. and I see a few.
Listen, it all worked out.
True.
Look at me.
Yeah. Look at this. Who wouldn't want to be that? Alon's like, I need help. I get a call from my mom later. My brother needs help.
Hold on, why do you have a paper due?
The professor heard about that quote and he wants to rewrite, or they're going to retract your diploma. I see some people in Europe in the chat here, and I apologize for this being so late every time we do one of these. I did one time do a Gil morning coffee chat. It was like 10 a.m. on a Monday. So maybe I'll bring those back. You were saying you enjoyed that.
I loved it. I thought it was cool.
Listen, the more Patreon subscribers we get, the more time we can dedicate to this and start earlier,
That's true. It's not shilling if he says it.
All right, no more shilling.
Something funny I noticed earlier today. there's a podcast kind of consolidator website called Player FM, which basically you can look up podcasts there. It'll have reviews of the podcast. People will, unlike some of the Downcast, for example, if you subscribe on Downcast, I have no idea how many subscribers we have, through that app. But Player FM will show you how many subscribers each podcast has. Anyway, I found Sawcast on there, and it has tags. So I don't know where these tags come from, if they're just generated by just transcripts or if somebody's entering those tags, but they're obvious ones like Better Call Saul, Jimmy McGill. Then there's one tag on there that just says Adam.
I see that.
Yeah, right? There's no Gill tag. And I wish Adam were here. I would ask him if he's the one who went and added that or if somebody else did. But like 2 hours ago, I saw that. And
But it's like it tells you, how many atoms are in existence?
I know.
It doesn't tell you anything.
And I will say that was not me Googling myself.
I also like how there's an explicit label. Did you guys curse like once?
We might have added that. It's an option you can set. And I think I added it at first in case we cursed. And then we never did. I thought I turned that off, but I would say it better. The Sawcast is very much non-explicit, I would say.
Yeah, family friendly. Gather around the family room with your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to it. Watch.
Just
watch
like
it
people
together.
used to sit down around the radio to listen to. What were some old-timey radio shows? There's like one that my mind always goes to. Like, I don't know, old Superman serials. The same way the family will sit down around the radio.
Didn't they do War of the World or what?
Yeah, War of the Worlds was one.
Yeah.
We're supposed everyone always tells that story about how when War of the Worlds, the radio played, everyone thought it was true. So everyone freaked out thinking aliens were attacking. Apparently that's not true. Not that aliens weren't attacking, but it's not true that people fell for it.
Pontypool.
Pontypool was a great movie.
Yeah.
Which also involved radio.
Daniel.
Frequency.
Ah.
Yeah, another great movie involving a radio.
Now we're just talking about anything with a
Frequency.
radio in it.
B-Dub asks if we're watching The Boys.
No, but listen, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't love where the direction they took season 2. I loved season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna wait for season 3 to finish, read up on what people think. Maybe I'll go back to it.
Yeah,
I know so far people seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah, it has been the talk of the town, so I'm thinking about checking it out at some point.
There are a lot of scenes,
Yeah.
which I'm fine with.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is what keeps making the headlines is when they keep trying to one-up themselves with just being absolutely disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of?
Just like male parts and stuff. A lot of that.
Oh,
Honestly,
exploding.
though, one thing that kind of bothers me about it is it really does feel like they're trying to get attention and get people watching just because of the shock factor.
Right.
That's fine. It doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
Like I've seen enough stuff at this point, like Game of Thrones and everything.
Right.
Like I actually saw an advertisement on Twitter for The Boys that it was literally a promoted tweet that was just saying the next episode you will be shocked at what you see. And there's like 2 actors talking about like, I can't believe like we can show this. It's like, all right, like clearly you did it just because you wanted to promote that fact and try to get people to watch.
Right. Shock value.
They probably came up with these scenes and then wrote the story around it.
Yeah.
Whatever these scenes
We
are.
should try shock value.
Daniel?
Yeah, which limb do you
Leave me
like?
alone.
What's your least favorite limb?
Put it on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like anytime we talk about shows that aren't Better Call Saul, it's like, look, I hear good things. From what I've watched, it's pretty good. I might check it out. But I have watched those first 2 episodes of Succession that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I plan to watch episode 3 at some point. You're like
Yeah.
a Succession viewer,
I like
a
it.
regular
It's a
viewer,
good
right?
show. When does it come back? Do you know?
I don't know. KFP or Vic Disco? Do any of you know? Let's get to KFP's topic. Sadly, I think it's a topic that you two might have very little to say about, but I think maybe you could talk about it in a more general sense. So, the movie Scream?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah. Wait, you really have never seen it?
No, I've seen like bits and pieces when it came out on TV.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things we wanted to talk about tonight is Westworld, but we didn't watch the new season, so we can't discuss it yet.
Sorry.
and you have never even seen a single episode, right?
I watched like the first two.
Scream. So they recently did Scream 5, Daniel, which it was kind of a legacy sequel, brought back a lot of the original cast, also introduced a lot of new cast members. But Alun, there was recently some controversy where Neve Campbell, main character from the first movie, she was in the new one as well. She basically said that for Scream 6, they didn't offer her enough money. She told this to Deadline, so it's out there. So she dropped out. So
it's not really the same with her.
Well, so I was going to ask, is that true?
After the last movie, I think it doesn't necessarily require any of the original. I felt like Scream 5 felt like it was set up to introduce all these new characters so they can move away from the old ones. Because eventually, you can't keep them forever.
Doesn't it, at a certain point, especially with this sort of story, it starts to stretch out to a point of, how much more is there to say about her character? And it's not like the movie's going for gritty realism, but at a certain point, it will become eye roll inducing if she's once again a target for this Scream killer. And even the new Scream, I enjoyed it. I think we all enjoyed it, except for you, because you didn't see it. But the rest of us enjoyed the movie, but it didn't have a lot new to say from the original Scream. And part of the reason I enjoyed it is because I think it's been so long. It was a little bit of a retread, but again, it had been so long, it was kind of like, oh, this old friend, nice to see you again. This new one coming out so soon after this last one, I'm hoping they can come up with a way to do things a little bit differently. But my point is, in terms of this actress, to me, the things that make Scream so memorable, it's more the concept and the way it was executed. The fact that it was able to thread the needle of being a horror movie while making fun of horror movies and working the tropes into the plot. It is nice to see her again because it creates that sense of continuity, and I'd like her to come back. And good news, actually. This morning, it's being reported. It's a rumor from an anonymous source that they changed their minds, that they found a way to work out a deal, and she is going to come back, at least for a small role. And I think that would be perfect. Right. Small role.
Fair enough.
But let's work with some of the new cast members.
I'd be fine with that. Honestly, if I recall, she wasn't a huge part of the last one. So
she was a large part. She was definitely
when did she show up? She showed up.
It wasn't at the beginning, right? You're right. Yeah. But I guess I'd have to rewatch it. But she was definitely more than a cameo. She was a supporting actress in the movie at minimum. Yeah, KFP says plug your Scream video. In early episode of the One Take podcast, we covered the new Scream movie in detail. So check out the One Take podcast channel, movies playlist, and you'll find it there. Yeah, KFP says plug your Scream video and has the screaming, freaking out emoji.
Listen, I appreciate constructive criticism. Yeah, so I'm going to bring up this guy's message here about the lighting.
Oh God, yeah.
Listen, no, I agree we could use better lighting. We're working on it. We turned off this bright one before, but I want to try it. I'm not. Listen.
Are you going to turn it on?
I'm going to turn it on. And Mr. COD Commando, I appreciate your input. Let us know if it fixes it.
But also subscribe to the Patreon, then we can get a better studio.
Yeah. If you subscribe, we'll give you access to the Hue light bulb app so you can control the bulb from your house. There's buildings in New York City where
the Empire State Building, wasn't there a point where you could control the lighting or
I don't know if the Empire State, I know there were other buildings in the city where there is an app, a web app, where you can control the light, and people will be competing for the light. So if you hit blue, it'll turn blue for a few seconds. So we'll do that here.
I don't care that this light blinds me anytime I look in its direction.
Don't look at it.
Lieutenant Dirk asks, is Nolan's brother...
If it's that bad, I'll go turn it off. That's
fine. Is Nolan's brother the creator of Westworld? Jonathan Nolan, I think he's a co-creator, and he's definitely involved. But yeah, there you go, Vic Disco. Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, KFP. He used to listen with his ears, but now he also watches with his eyes.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. I think that those are all of our thoughts on Scream. Oh, I did have a couple of other thoughts. In a more, go ahead.
I was just thinking, they're going to bring back Scary Movie at some point.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely going to.
That franchise, I never saw. Actually, funny story about that. I remember when I was in elementary school and that movie came out, I don't even know why, but I so badly wanted to see that movie. It became like forbidden
I
fruit.
was gonna say like South Park probably for you.
Yeah,
like
it
when
was
you were a kid.
definitely in a similar category. I wanted to watch South Park so bad, but you could only sneak it without your parents seeing. I wanted to see Scary Movie. And I remember making a pact with myself. I would tell myself this over and over. When you're old enough, do not forget, you have to go see Scary Movie. And I've never seen it. I think the only one I saw was Scream 3, which was PG-13, if I remember correctly. And I remember by that point, the franchise
Do you mean
was...
Scary Movie 3?
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Okay,
Scary
I
Movie
got
3.
confused.
But people liked...
You didn't see the original?
No, and people liked the
Let's watch
original,
them.
right? All right, let's do it. Hey, One Take Podcast, we'll
All right.
cover it. But people actually liked Scary Movie, right? It's one of those things they ran it into the ground.
Yeah.
But at first, people liked
and then
it,
they
right?
started making the like offshoots that were like, I forget the other one. Like,
not another
Scary
teen movie.
No, I mean like not the horror genre.
That's what I'm saying. Like not another teen movie was one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh wait, that was one of the Scary Movie like type movies.
It was.
I
At
thought
least
that was just another teen. Oh, not
it was.
another
It was a spoof. I don't know if it was
I thought
made
they were
by
blank movies. Though.
Well, there was Epic Movie.
Okay,
but I
that's
know
what
not
I'm
another
thinking.
teen movie was definitely a parody movie.
It ends in the word movie. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
But okay, here I'm going to come up with something, Daniel, that you might be able to chime in on. You watched Breaking Bad, right?
No.
Yeah. And you watched Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay. In our Discord, right before this, someone shared a controversial tweet that said, at its peak, Game of Thrones was hands down better than Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Agree or disagree, and why?
Maybe better than Breaking Bad. Definitely not better than Better Call Saul. I think
So you're saying implicitly, you're saying Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad.
Oh, far better than Breaking Bad.
Far better.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with that, and then we'll
Wow.
go to Game of Thrones.
I think the characters are way more developed in Better Call Saul than in Breaking Bad. And maybe that's just a matter of personal preference, but that's something I like a lot more.
Yeah.
The other issue, so Better Call Saul has an advantage in that it hasn't ended yet, right? The Breaking Bad ending, I think, was good, right? But the last season didn't feel as high quality, right? There were a lot, we're able to talk like spoilers.
Well, I wouldn't spoil anything from Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I would say, though, for Breaking Bad, I do remember getting a little worried in the final season about the pacing, that it was moving a little quickly. But then I felt that it kind of righted that ship. And I would never say it got derailed. I just started to get a little worried. And then by the end, I thought the landing was stuck. They stuck the landing.
I don't think the ending was bad or anything. Like, I think it was good, but it didn't feel, I mean, it didn't feel like as good as the rest of the season.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fine.
Whereas I feel like, Better Call Saul, maybe there have been like a couple episodes where I've worried about the pacing, but for the most part, I think it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So Better Call Saul is definitely better than Breaking Bad. Game of Thrones, I don't know, in some ways Game of Thrones is kind of an easier thing to pull off. Like it's more epic inherently.
Right. You're not as dependent on writing interesting characters.
Yeah.
You can have sword fights, things that wouldn't work on Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. We haven't seen the second half of the season, so
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Game of Thrones felt like, let me just think of shocking things that haven't been done before and just do them.
Right.
Or,
You think so? You think they were doing shocking things just for the sake of being shocking?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. I mean, why kill all these main characters?
Well, but that wasn't just to be shocking. It was to tell. It made the story so much more compelling that nobody was safe.
But don't you think? Yeah. Which
but that's not doing.
Don't you think that George R.R. Martin probably was thinking, I want to write a story where I kill a bunch of main characters people love to shock them. Now let me write an interesting story around that.
But I think it's more like he wanted to just tell a story that was far more realistic and had higher stakes than most stories.
Yeah, I agree more with Daniel on this, just because the writing in the books and as translated to the screen, at least in the first few seasons, is so good, if I remember correctly, that I do give some benefit of the doubt where, I mean, there are two ways to read it. Right?
I'm not even saying that as a negative thing. Like, it is, I do think it's a great story at the start.
Yeah. Well, you're basically saying that being shocking for shock's sake is not necessarily a problem.
Yeah. No, I don't think, I'm not saying this as a problem.
Yeah.
So that actually brings up an interesting point though, right? So Better Call Saul, people often talk about how it's a show where character dictates plot.
Mhm.
So maybe what you're bringing up is, does like Game of Thrones, what dictates plot in Game of Thrones? Like it's character to some extent.
So is a variable.
It just feels like my boys, like what I said about the boys earlier.
Yeah.
It's like they're thinking like, what's a crazy thing I can do? All right, now let's write around it.
Right. And the problem would be if you could feel that engineering at work, where stuff happens that you're like, I don't buy that. And it only happened to get you to a point where something shocking happens.
So I don't feel like that. Like I feel like it feels organic and it feels well done. It feels like it's all necessary. And like they did a great job.
Yeah.
But I do wonder the process of the thought process behind it, which came first.
Right. It may have started with, because to be fair, I mean, it might have started with, if I do something shocking, that gets my book attention.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, but that's fine because there's also great writing here.
Yeah. And that's also not necessarily like a bad way to come up with something, because that's an interesting way even to come up with characters is like, what's like a shocking, crazy thing that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what characters would result in that happening? Like, that's kind of an interesting way to go about it.
Yeah, which I'd be fine with that too. I mean, like if you listen to the Insider podcast for Better Call Saul, they'll talk a lot about what goes on in the writer's room. And I mean, they'll consider every option, discuss and debate them in the room until they get to one they're satisfied with. And I'm sure that not every single suggestion is, okay, organically, what would this character do right now? I'm sure people will throw stuff out where it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if this happened? And then if it fits organically, they say, yeah, maybe we go with that. And that's like you both are saying, that's not necessarily a problem.
I just remembered a time like a year ago, you and I were trying to workshop like a pilot we were thinking about.
What?
Oh,
we had an idea for like a show we wanted to work on. But every one of my suggestions was just like, okay, and what if like the main character gets his head blown off in the next scene? Like, wouldn't that be really shocking?
I don't remember that, but that sounds.
I kept likening it to the boys.
so you learned from their good work. The problem is, by the time our pilot gets looked at, like it's been done already.
So you're just trying to come up with a Game of Thrones with a lot more boys, like parts, like from the boys.
I was trying to figure out a way to make
boys
that
parts parts from the boys.
Oh, okay. I actually thought you were saying that.
Well,
because there was there's a scene where a character shrinks and then goes inside another man's.
I heard about this.
This is in the boys.
Yeah, and
in the new season.
Yeah, he's like Ant-Man, but then he accidentally expands while he's in there. I believe that's what happens. I didn't watch it.
So that's what you want.
We don't need to
in
cover
your
the
pilot.
boys.
Yeah. Okay. Jay and KFP are both. KFP says that woman on the official podcast is annoying. No, and Jay said, I said that too, and Gil disagreed. KFP. I guess I don't know why I'm reading this because Jay said what I was about to say. He said she keeps it on track. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with myself.
Hey, Gil, they taught you how to make a Cinnabon, right?
Yeah, that's the example. I remember she'll ask like an insightful question, and then while while Peter Gould is answering, Vince Gilligan, Bob, you learned how to make a cinnamon roll, right? And I'm like, well, I want to hear about the other thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jay, thank you.
Oh wow, yeah. Jay said,
Daniel, you need an Under Armour shirt next time.
Oh, fair enough.
Don't you own a ton of Under Armour?
I was the OG Under Armour wearer among the brothers.
Yeah, and then I was inspired by him, and now I own a lot of Under Armour shirts. So Jay's like, oh, okay, unsubscribe. You don't need this. Game of Thrones versus Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Some of it's just a matter of preference. Like I mean, in the early seasons, I liked Game of Thrones. I never got to the level that, for example, Adam got to. He loved that show. He was so into the lore of it, trying to figure out where it's going. The Bran character. See, a lot of people didn't like Bran, but he did because Bran was kind of tied into uncovering the whole mythology. So I was always into it, but there's something about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul that just I really connected with. And I think part of it might be, like, for me, character is pretty paramount in a story. Like if you look at, I don't really have any examples at my fingertips, but the bigger the cast and the more it becomes an ensemble cast and you're trying to balance a lot of characters.
Modern Family.
Sure. I never watched it, but I'll just say it'll probably be there's a hurdle there for me to get past. But I've really come to enjoy this idea of just zooming in on a very small handful of characters and just following them.
Stranger Things. I heard a quote from Millie Bobby Brown, 11. She said that she felt there were too many characters in the show now.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's all. I just heard that. I don't know anything else.
Biting the hand that feeds her, just like Neve Campbell. Oh, I did have one more thought on that, by the way, for Scream. I feel like anytime an actor or an actress goes to the media and says, I'm not getting paid enough, so I'm dropping out, I kind of always assume that's a negotiation tactic. That's a big bargaining chip.
Especially doing it in public.
Like, do they end up getting a bigger offer?
I don't know, but I mean, if the rumors are true that she is coming back, then
I mean,
worked.
Just imagine like a bunch of people are going to come out defending her in public and like talking crap to the studio. Like,
right.
I mean, like, it'll probably work.
That feels like a pretty toxic negotiating habit, though. Like, I can't imagine that works.
I feel like everyone does it.
This is the thing.
Like, we see this all the time.
Yeah, if enough people have done it, it's just considered par for the course. You know,
and she's in the perfect position to do it. I mean, she's OG. Yeah, she's in it from the start.
Interesting.
It's funny. They said in the person who broke this rumor, he basically said they're trying to make it like No Way Home, where they keep it a secret whether or not she's going to show up, and that's why they haven't announced it. But if they're expecting a No Way Home level response for her return to Scream, I just don't think it's going to be quite the same level as a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
The Scream multiverse.
Okay, so I was going to say that. So I was thinking about where do we go next with the Scream franchise, and I think at this point, playing off of the tropes of slasher movies, it's over. I mean, there's no more slasher movies except for that one. That one with the really tall guy that was in Swingers.
Vince Vaughn.
Oh, where he switched bodies.
American Psycho.
No,
wasn't he in that?
It might
Vince Vaughn.
No, he was in
Psycho 2.
No, the remake of Psycho. It was a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho.
I know Christian Bale was American.
Sorry,
Psycho.
shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah, they did a remake of the black and white.
Oh,
Psycho.
and Mila Kunis.
Psycho.
A Psycho remake.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
All right,
so they remade the movie, but they changed nothing. They just took the original script and just reshot it, but with different actors and actresses, just in color.
The original is black and white.
I got that.
Well, KFP, I agree with you. So KFP says, not true, Gil. Maybe not as many people love Scream, but has fans that are just as devoted. But that's exactly what I'm saying. It's just not as many people. But there will be people that will be just as happy to see her as people were happy to see Tobey Maguire, but not as many. That's right, KFP. Gus Van Sant. That was the director, I think, of Psycho. Where were we going? Oh, yes. I just think Scream. I think we're overdue for another updated Scream, a Scream 2.0, to attack more tropes than just the slasher genre. I want to see jokes about creating a cinematic universe. I want them to bring in supernatural elements. Why not at this point? Let's have a little fun. And maybe they introduce other serial killers, and the joke will be, oh, that's to set up their spin-off movie. Forget maybe the supernatural element. Okay, that might be a little too much for you guys. I don't know if you're ready for that. But I think multiverse stuff would be cool. Cinematic universe stuff.
Other versions of the Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, new masks.
Are you impressed I knew his name?
I am impressed.
Slash her name.
Nice.
But we'll see like the orange one that we had when we were kids. Why did we have an orange version of that?
Well, I think it was an actual Halloween mask.
Was it
before it was
unofficial?
Yeah.
Ghostface Killer is supposed to be Crazy Eyes Killer from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah.
Who's crazy? I forget. By the way, Adam was just chiming in on the side here. He said that Ghostface Killer reminds you of Crazy Eyes Killer from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Look it up real quick.
Yeah. If you want to join, by the way, and I had a long day, we can get a mic. Okay, Adam sends his regards.
I don't remember this.
And if you listen to this, just know at the beginning I wasn't trying to make fun of you or anything. It was all.
This was. You remember that? I don't remember that.
Looks kind of familiar.
Oh, vaguely familiar. I just don't remember.
Crazy Eyes Killer.
Vic Disco, by the way, back on Game of Thrones. Oh, Adam, maybe I can get you to chime in on one more thing quickly. All right, so Jon Snow, you remember him from Game of Thrones?
I try not to.
He says he tries not to.
Oh, we gotta start showing the chats on screen.
Oh yeah, I
Totally
forgot about that. All right, let me pull this up. This is great.
Yeah.
We've got great
Oh,
technology
all right,
here.
come on.
What's the question?
Modern Mythos, by the way, asks, "Are you going to talk about video games or take questions on them?" Both. If to be honest, this is meant to be sort of free flowing. So I just listed every possible thing we might talk about: movies, TV, video games, other stuff. So there's no guarantee. But if you ask a question, we'll probably talk about it. Oh yeah, let me pull up. I guess I don't have to pull up the chat. I can't find it. You remember Jon Snow from Game of Thrones?
Vaguely.
They announced that there is a
spinoff.
It was leaked. Yeah, they're talking about doing a spin-off sequel that follows his character. And apparently it was the actor's idea to do it.
Right now I have negative interest in that
Yeah.
because of the way his character left off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it was just the stupidest thing I'd ever heard.
All right, cool.
I'm curious to see what they do with it. I mean, maybe part of it. Look, there's no way you can be Kit Harington and feel satisfied with what they did to his role.
Right.
Or the direction that his story took, like theoretically after the series ended.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's actually trying to salvage it.
Yeah.
But I've learned not to get too optimistic.
What if he says, "I'm going to do this show on one condition: you bring back Benioff and Weiss"? Ace Bronx.
Maybe join us. You on mic? I can set you up.
Yeah.
All right. I wish I could. Yeah. I'm just surprised he wants to do another series after all those articles about how depressed he was. I don't know if maybe he's fine now.
That always happens. That's a negotiation tactic.
Yeah.
But James Bond, Daniel Craig, he said the same thing. After one of the James Bond movies, he said, I think the direct quote was, "I'd rather slit my wrists than do another James Bond movie." And then like a month later, it was, Daniel Craig set to return in the next...
With double the salary.
Yeah, exactly. Ace Bronx asks, what are your top 5 favorite villains of all time from any type of media? Adam?
Calvin.
Daniel?
Calvin's babysitter.
Oh, from Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah.
How did you think of that?
I was just trying to think of something random like that.
Yeah.
He always said any other media. We have Calvin and Hobbes as our weight over there.
Wait, Nermal?
Nermal.
What's
yeah.
Nermal?
The Nermal was a rival cat in Garfield, the gray cat.
Yeah. It was a boy cat.
Yeah, that I remember. That was kind of like the Mario villain that like the instruction.
Oh, Birdo.
Birdo, yeah.
Can a villain be a collective?
Sure, potentially.
Right, the Reapers in Mass Effect.
Oh, they're cool. Oh, I like what's the guy? The blank man, elusive man in Mass Effect 2. You know what I'm talking about? That dude that like would just sit like in space, like with that like big window.
Was he a human just controlled by the Reapers?
Yeah.
Adam's got another.
Thrawn.
Adam says Thrawn.
In the Thrawn trilogy of Star Wars.
Oh, the Thrawn trilogy of Star Wars.
Which have been decanonized.
Yeah, they've been.
Was he the blue guy?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah,
I can't believe.
Yeah,
I
if you're
knew that.
unfamiliar, basically before Disney bought Star Wars, there was a lot of extended universe content, other books, other comics. That there was a rating system for which of these are canon, and there was degrees. So this one is a little bit canon. That one's not canon at all. Like there's one where Indiana Jones discovered the skeleton of Han Solo. So that one's not canon at all. And definitely not anymore. After Disney bought all this stuff, they scrapped all the extended universe. But there was a trilogy about this villain named Thrawn. People love this guy. Even Adam does.
And since Adam's not on camera, Adam loves the audiobooks of like all these Star Wars books. They're like cinematic and have cool sound effects and stuff.
Like radio plays with like multiple actors. You have to repeat this.
They're like radio plays with multiple actors and music
And like sound effects.
and sound effects, and listen to them on Audible. Maybe we'll get an Audible sponsorship.
I do want to. Oh, go ahead.
The Cro-Mags.
Oh, the
Sliders.
Cro-Mags from Sliders.
That's a good one.
I'll say one. The G-Man from Half-Life.
He's great. Well, is he really a villain?
See, the best villains give you that reaction. You go, are they a villain? Because if it's just a mustache twirling bad guy, I mean, it's not that interesting a villain. Ace Bronx gave Adam a W. That's a win, I think. Right?
Usually.
Yeah, Adam says it better be. That's why I put Adam on my list of villains. If Adam decided to become a villain, I would say all of us should be worried.
But also, it would be the least surprising person out of us to become one.
No, so you're doing one of those.
Think about it.
You're doing one of those fake predictions where if he doesn't become a villain, you'll be like, "Oh, I was just kidding." But if he does, you're like, "Well, I said so. I knew it."
True, but at the same time, I mean, I can see him getting pushed over the edge. Imagine Snow comes out,
Which is the working title, by the way.
Yeah.
Snow.
Comes out. Adam's like, "Fine, I'll give it a shot." He watches it for like 13 seasons. He's like, "This is awesome." All of a sudden, season 14,
Yeah.
garbage.
Season 14. If it's good for 13 seasons, I don't think anyone will have anything to complain about.
I don't know what if season 14 comes out and just ruins all the previous seasons? Imagine, I'm just saying, the longer it goes on and then gets destroyed, just imagine what it would do to Adam.
Yeah.
I could see him live long enough through those seasons to become the villain.
You could see Adam living another 14 years.
At least.
Favorite villains. So I don't think we'll be able to have a structured top 5 list just off the cuff.
We're just saying Aaron Ray.
Yeah, we've named some good ones. I think G-Man was kind of
I
the
think
first one
that's
that
a
came
good
to
one.
mind for me.
Listen, I do actually really like Elusive Man as a villain.
Yeah.
You gotta like rewatch some cutscenes and stuff.
Okay, I
He was
will.
Pretty great.
By the way, video game talk. So for the person who's asking for some early, oh yeah,
By the way.
Evan, great reference. I'll get back
Oh,
to that in a
sorry.
second. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say Martin Sheen voiced the Elusive Man.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Evan says, this may sound crazy, but hear me out. So that's a line from Better Call Saul. And without spoiling anything, after the character said that, the other person didn't necessarily hear them out. And we all agreed as a one-take community that you're allowed one, this may sound crazy, but whatever follows that but, everyone in this community is obligated to believe whatever comes next. One time. You get one of those.
Wait,
If you subscribe to Patreon, you get 2 of them.
when was that line used?
Well, I can't say without spoiling. Here, hold on, just
Here.
vamp for a second. Here, Daniel.
Oh. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to talk right now. So
I'm back.
okay.
Dude,
All
great
right.
job
Thank
vamping
you.
right there. Any other villains that come to mind? Kaiser Soze from Vic Disco. The usual suspects.
The Night King.
Adam says the Night King.
Oh, Gus
Gus.
Fran
Who?
from Breaking Bad.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What's that?
Walter White becomes a villain.
Yeah,
Walter White. Would you count him as a villain?
Two-Face.
He's
Two-Face.
the missing villain protagonist.
He's the what'd you say?
He's a protagonist villain.
He's a protagonist villain. But we were saying, Adam, don't you agree? Those are the best villains. Are the ones where you have to kind of question it. Are they a villain?
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Adam? Any other favorites you can think of?
Who's the guy who ties up the girl and throws her on the train track?
The guy who ties up the girl.
That
and
from
throws her-
Rocky Bullwinkle.
You talking about Mickey Mouse?
I don't know. This is just like
The guy with the twirly mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the first mustache twirling villain? That guy should get a lot of credit.
The villain in Hugo.
Hugo?
Yeah, the video game.
Oh, the
Yeah,
witch.
but who's the villain?
All right. So there's this
Dastardly
game.
Whiplash.
Hey, DJ Doey Fresh says my favorite brothers. Thank you, DJ. DJ will be on here soon, I think, as a guest. And you have to bring a beverage or a food so we can do an episode of One Taste.
Yeah.
What were we just talking about? Villains.
Well, I looked up this mustache twirling mustache guy. Dastardly Whiplash is his name.
from Mario?
yeah.
Mickey Mouse?
I'm trying to figure that out. I probably should have figured that out before I started talking here.
Wait, KFP, you said unlock your dark
From the
essay on
silent
Patreon.
film.
What dark essay are you talking about? Because I think they're all
He probably has
available.
access to your Google Drive.
Yeah, one of my unwritten, unreleased.
By the way, the season 1 and 2 recap of Dark is about to hit 1 million views.
Hey, that's exciting. I'm
He's
gonna lock
also
it
named
after that.
Snidely Whiplash. He's got 2 names.
So
I'm going down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah. All right. Any other villains to mention before we wrap up?
The Joker,
says-
obviously, but that's kind of a cliche.
Oh, Joker's a great villain.
I mean, he's probably top 5.
I would say.
The Joker's cliche.
Oh.
Mustache rolling guy.
Lee
Hey.
Chuck.
I don't know
Oh.
if people could hear what Adam said.
Adam said, "Oh, the Joker's cliche, but the mustache twirling guy isn't." KFP. Oh, okay. I know what KFP's talking about. He says there's something locked and you've got the key. That video was basically my lesson and how to handle copyright on YouTube, because the Dark Season 1 and 2 recap, that one got copyright claimed, and Daniel helped me re-edit it about 14 times to take out enough footage that it would kind of be okay. So the locked video is just a different version of the Dark Season 1 and 2 recap. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I should have been like, it's an amazing video, but it's just too much. People couldn't handle it. So YouTube was like, yo, this is great, but you have to lock this. It'll change reality itself if anyone sees this. Oh, Modern Mythos, Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
He's good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
They should do a sequel to that.
Yeah.
They're doing a Face-Off sequel. Let's do
Yeah.
Demolition Man.
There's a lot of these classics that they got to make sequels, you know? Like, you're not going to ruin the original. It's fine. Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we've said this before, but I think all the Adam Sandler classics, they should do sequels.
Yeah.
There's no shot at it's not like an artistic project where a sequel might ruin the original. Do you even think that's a thing? Like, if a sequel is terrible, does it retroactively ruin stuff for you?
Well, yes.
Adam's like, well, how about Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Remember that?
No, I think it does, but I think with a comedy, it's a lot harder to ruin the original. Like Anchorman 2, I heard it wasn't very good. I mean, I actually didn't see it, so maybe it would ruin the original. The original probably wouldn't be ruined for me because of the sequel.
But also, TV shows are different from movies. I think it's easier to ruin a TV show with a bad last season than with a movie.
Because you don't get a conclusion.
Well, Simpsons, though. This is what I'm saying about like a comedy with that. You don't really, like, you're not watching it for the story. You're watching it literally just for the laughs.
And I think comedy,
classic Simpsons will always be funny.
That's what I was going to say. Usually, not every comedy fits this description, but a lot of comedies are just, did it make you laugh or not?
Yeah.
And for what percentage of the movie were you laughing? Like, boom, that's it.
It's not like New Simpsons is so unfunny that now that the classics are no longer funny. Like Game of Thrones. Sorry, Adam. Like the last seasons literally ruined the earlier seasons for me because now I know some of this stuff doesn't go anywhere.
Snow is going to fix it. Don't worry.
Okay.
That's going to become like a cult that I'm the leader of. Like when you're always waiting for the savior to show up. For me, it'll be Snow's still coming. HBO has canceled development of it, and I'm like, don't worry, Amazon Prime is going to pick it up.
You're going to start a podcast, and then they're going to cancel it before it airs.
Yeah, which that happens.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we did. Adam and I started. That's when I point over here. So now people know Adam is actually sitting right over there. We started a podcast called Blood Moon because that was the kind of rumored working title for the Naomi Watts Game of Thrones spinoff. And we did a couple of episodes, which actually were entertaining episodes, I thought.
Yeah. I wasted my time making like a nice little like album cover for the podcast.
Yeah, it's a great little album cover. Adam Evan, by the way, he's got a name for the podcast. One Flake podcast. Yeah, because you
shots fired.
You flaked, bro.
On what?
On showing up.
Wait, are they calling him like a snowflake?
Oh, I didn't even know you were doing it.
1 month ago, Adam says, hey, we should do a live stream every Monday night since we're not doing the instant takes. 1 month later, I didn't know anything about this. What are you talking about? That's why he made my top 5 villains list. He's gaslighting me. I'm being gaslit right now.
Can you also say Daniel?
Oh, Adam says this. Evan says that's not what he
Yeah,
meant.
he did.
I'm no villain.
Oh, for the snow.
I can't compete with Adam.
Snowflake.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Maybe he was calling me a snowflake.
Oh.
Freudian slip on your end right there.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Truth comes out.
I'll be honest. I have not heard anything you've said in the last 15 seconds.
Oh.
I completely spaced
should we
out.
ask
any
Evan?
of you?
Should we just to summarize? Let's
forgot
ask
we were
Evan
live.
what
You're
he
just like,
meant. Evan, can you clarify what is the flake here? Is it Adam or is it a snowflake?
Wait, in the meantime, I had a response I wanted to say. KFP said, what were the 3 shells for?
Oh, we know what they were for. We just don't know how to use
Well,
them.
I could describe it in detail. I would get banned off YouTube if I did, but KFP, just for you and the other Patreon subscriber, I'll do a little video. I'll explain and demonstrate, and it'll also be posted on my OnlyFans.
I heard that at some point. Oh God, I heard that at some point someone actually did come up with some sort of way they could be used and posted it online.
You heard that, or you're speculating?
I feel like I don't know why. I feel like I heard that someone wrote an article or posted something online that explained a way they could be used.
What could be used?
Maybe I'll Google it later. Have you seen Demolition Man?
No.
You know what it is?
No.
It's a movie with Sylvester Stallone, and
What's his name? He got in trouble for taxes. Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Okay, it's a movie with what's his name? Sylvester Stallone.
KFP likes your OnlyFans.
It's about a cop who gets frozen and wakes up in the future, right? It's a fish out of water
Yeah.
story.
Well,
Everything's different. And at one point, he's about to, with a girl. But damn, you know what? The birds and the bees. Anyway, so he's getting ready.
have you seen The Boys?
Yeah, there you go.
Ugh.
There's that one scene I really liked about the guy who shrank.
That's how it works.
So when he's getting ready to she just pulls out 3 shells, and it's like, what are we supposed to do with this?
No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
wrong.
All right, go ahead.
He had to go to the bathroom. That was a different scene right
Oh,
there. That they
okay.
ended up putting things on their heads, and it was like a virtual reality type thing where they weren't actually physically touching at all.
Oh,
that was
okay.
different.
Kind of
The
like
three-
Avatar, where they connect their hair.
Yeah, except they don't touch here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. KFB bathroom. So Sylvester Stallone's character had to go to the bathroom. You know about this? So he goes into the stall. He does his business, and then he's like, "Where's the toilet paper?" He looks behind him. There's 3 shells sitting like on the toilet seat, like on the top there, and then he just didn't know what to do. And then he like asked them like, "What do you do with those?" And they just laughed at him for not knowing.
There you go.
You
Maybe
get it?
that's what we should have done instead of explaining all this. When Daniel's like, "What are you talking about?" We should have just said,
Wait, Birds and
like-
bees.
It's like in Total Recall with the 3,
It's like in Total Recall with the
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Or Mallrats also had the 3.
That happened in Mallrats?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, where she
Yeah,
had 3. It was
I
it
remember
was a she was a fortune teller, and she could use the third. You can say the word, the third bosom. She could use it to tell the future.
I don't think we'll have to unlist this. We've been speaking in like code. And,
it ended up being a stick-on. Well, but what we do with these videos, we unlist them, but then we post them over on the One Check Podcast channel. Where nobody's going to see it.
I'll promote it.
So, that's where we
Yet.
hide our shame. How many good takes do you have to give to be allowed back to the table, Adam?
1 T.
We always get back to bathroom humor. Hey, we learn from the best. Better Call Saul. Everywhere you look in that show is a toilet.
That's true.
All right, let me check my topic list and see if we have anything else here. I have a shocking twist in the Hollywood world. And by the way, if Jay Wilkes, I feel like you're the one who brought this up last time. I like to have a fun fact, towards the end of every one of these. I do have a fun fact for this one, so stick around.
All right.
But in the meantime, I have a shocking twist in the world of Hollywood. Remember that movie District 9?
Yeah.
Adam, remember that movie District 9?
Yeah.
He says yes. That was a pretty good movie, right?
Yeah.
So that was written and directed by Neil Blomkamp. He created a short film before that, which became the movie District 9. And he kind of disappeared for a while. He did that movie Elysium, Chappie, maybe one other one. I think it's called Demon. It was kind of released on the down low. So he's been, where's he been? What's he up to? He is finally attached to a big production. Do you want to know what it is? It's going to shock you. For the person who is looking for video game content, if you had to guess, okay, you just have to guess what video game would Neil Blomkamp adapt?
I already remember now.
Oh, really?
So I think you told me.
Okay, so hold off.
Yeah.
Daniel, go ahead.
They're not adapting Mass Effect.
That would be
That
cool.
would be awesome. Yeah.
Neil Blomkamp's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
Wait. Oh, no. Now it's like in the back of my head.
I don't even think I told you this. I'm
we get a hint?
creating suspense. Meanwhile, anybody could just type in Neil
All right,
Blomkamp.
listen, when you say it, I will tell you honestly if that's what I was thinking of in the back of my head or not.
Was that the
Okay.
answer in the chat?
Street Fighter? No,
Okay.
that's not the answer. That would be awesome.
It
though.
is. Is it the one with the 2 guys?
Double
Mario
Dragon?
Luigi?
No, the fight.
Is it a game
fighting
of?
All right, I'm just
Is
gonna
it a
say
game I've ever played?
I don't know. Doubtful.
Ooh, is it that like fighting game we played the other day?
No, what
Okay.
fighting game? Oh, the Kung Fu Master.
Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge?
Oh, that game was awesome.
All right, Neil Blomkamp is writing and directing.
Wait, first letter.
G. Yeah,
Gino.
I'll start spelling it, and then whichever one of you gets it first.
All right.
This is what we used to do when we were kids. If we were going on a long road trip, we would play what we called Triviac Maniac.
Yeah.
I was always the host, and I would ask a series of trivia questions. It was always about pop culture that I knew we were all familiar with. A lot of Simpsons questions, Sliders questions, maybe Beyond Belief, stuff we watched in the 90s. And then if nobody could get it, I would slowly start spelling the answer. And first one to get it would get a point.
Not true.
Are we
Never
going to do
happened.
the clapping to answer
What are you
first?
talking about? Not
Beyond
true.
belief.
Oh, is this story true? Or are we just yanking your chain?
It was always a pun.
Never
based on the
happened.
Episode.
Yeah. That's true. They should bring that
Wait, was
back.
that were some of the stories were made up and some were true?
Yeah, okay.
Was
There
that
was
the shtick of the show?
we'll get back to this in a
Okay.
second. There was a great show that I rewatched some recently, and my opinion on it changed drastically.
Oh, boy.
But when I was 13, there was this great show called Beyond Belief, hosted by Jonathan Frakes. At one point, they had a different host. All the ones we watched were Jonathan Frakes. And basically, they would show 3 different stories. And supposedly one of them was true, but they were all crazy. It'd be like a ghost story.
It's always loosely true.
Yeah, loosely based on a true story. But it would be like ghost stories, aliens, sci-fi stuff, supernatural. It was always a supernatural or sci-fi element, I think. And then at the end, Jonathan Frakes would tell, and he hosted it. So between stories, it'd come back to him. It was kind of like one of those late night like horror movie hosts,
There was one awesome episode. Can I say spoilers for Beyond Belief?
I think so.
Okay. There's one where this cop was investigating a murder.
Mm-hmm.
And like the whole episode, he's like uncovering clues. And eventually he realizes he's the one that committed the murder in his sleep.
Oh, I think I remember that.
I think it might have been, I think it was one of the true ones.
So in between episodes, in between stories, it would come back to him and be like, wow, shocking story. But is it true? Wait till the end to find out. Then you go to the next story, and then at the end, he'd reveal which one's true.
Yeah.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
They should bring it back as a podcast.
That would be good.
All right, there you go.
We could do that.
Yeah, what do you think the license fees are for that? Like the Blade Runner, which I talked about recently. I just came out with a video today about Blade Runner. But that movie was based on a book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. The option for that book, like this guy is a filmmaker, and he was primarily an actor at the time, Hampton Fancher. He had $10,000 for some recent job he did. And he's like, you know what? I should take this $10,000 and turn it into a lot more than $10,000. Let me find a book to adapt. And he eventually was able to get the rights for $2,000. But like, how cool is that? That level of ambition of, you know what? I'm going to buy a book and make a movie out of it. Alon, you could use a little of that. Oomph.
Yeah. Maybe
All
I should
right.
read that book. It'll help.
So Neil Blomkamp,
G.
he's adapting a video game, and it is spelled G-R.
It's not Grand Theft Auto.
No.
Okay.
No, that was that movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Free Guy?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
G-
GR?
A.
Uh,
GRA?
All right, it's Grand Theft Auto.
no, it's not.
No,
I
it's
know,
not.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, you already said it's not. Yeah, G-R-A-N.
Grand Theft Auto.
No. Space
Gran Torino?
Torino.
It's not Gran
Yeah,
Turismo.
isn't Gran Torino?
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
This guy wrote it.
Yeah,
first.
Jay and Sham.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man,
Nino.
okay, you must have told me about some other video game movie recently, because that's not the one you told me.
Oh,
So
I was doing Beyond Belief to you. I was going to tell you a few.
Oh.
Yeah, Gran Turismo. So now you see that headline and you're like, what? How do you make a movie out of that game? There's no story. It's just racing.
well, you'd probably do it kind of like Battleship, where out of the board game.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a board game. You know what I'm talking about, though.
I would call it a board game.
Yeah?
It's a tabletop game.
Yeah, there you go. Tabletop game. I mean, that game has no story.
Oh, yeah. So Evan Hoffman, by the way, Gran Torino was
Yeah.
that Clint Eastwood
That's
movie.
right. Yeah, which already came out, so he wouldn't be
Well,
making
Neil
it now
Blomkamp's doing a sci-fi remake of Gran Turismo.
about cars.
Right. Oh, I think I know what I told you. They're making a Twisted Metal movie.
Oh.
Really? I still feel like that's not
Who's
what you were
doing
telling
that?
me about.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted
movie.
Metal scared me a lot when I was a kid.
The
There
clown.
was that,
Figure?
yeah, the clown car.
That was a great game. And Road Rash.
It's going to be. Sorry, no. Twisted Metal is going to be a live-action TV series on Peacock.
Oh. Mario movie's coming out.
That's right. But
They're
okay,
making another Mario. Oh yeah,
What do you
of
mean?
course. Yeah. I saw that.
all right, you heard it here first, folks. Everyone sit down. I'm about to shock all of you. Chris Pratt is going to be voicing Mario. He's
Dude.
also voicing Garfield, by the way.
You
And
I
Seth
can see it.
Rogen
I can see
is
it.
something.
You actually were upset because I spoiled
Oh,
the
yeah.
voice of Mario. 'Cause I just wrote it through text.
Yeah, the Nintendo Direct was going to happen. I was really excited to hear whatever announcements they were going to have. And then he texted me beforehand to be like, "Oh my God, Chris Pratt is Mario."
Dude, do you realize how many upcoming video game adaptations there are?
It's happening.
This is crazy. There's so many.
They should make Mass Effect. That would be
Can-
awesome.
Can I just read?
Sure, yeah.
Look at this. Metro 2033. I've heard of that game.
Okay.
I've heard of it. Assassin's Creed 2.
Wait, how is Assassin's Creed 1? There's no way it was.
I heard it
good.
wasn't
Yeah,
good.
Michael Fassbender.
Asteroids, Borderlands, Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect, The Last of Us.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Metal Gear, they have to cast Kurt Russell. Well,
Okay.
Daniel's been saying they should do a Mass
Yeah,
Effect.
you're
Okay,
just gonna
yeah.
fly
Yeah,
past
no,
that?
well, I'm just reading the list of movies.
I had
like-
no idea.
Oh,
Owen looked
shit.
so pissed. I feel like
No,
that,
I wasn't pissed. I was
Okay.
just like, I didn't expect that reaction.
that was Owen's villain origin story.
I've been sitting
Mass-
here hoping they're gonna make a.
Well,
Mass
this is a
Effect movie.
sequel. They came
that-
out with the first
No,
one last year.
no.
It did great. It got 93% on
Starring
Rotten
Chris
Tomatoes.
Pratt.
It was directed.
Sorry,
by,
starring Chris
it
Pratt.
was directed by
as
Christopher
Commander
Nolan.
Shepard. Last of Us. All right. that's enough.
HBO series. That's not a movie.
Fine. Half-Life. I don't believe that one.
Now,
No.
yeah, Half-Life they've been talking about for years.
Yo, Gran Turismo.
There you go. Yeah, wow. Can't wait for that. Well, so can I explain this?
Fruit Ninja.
Gears of War.
All right,
that would
sorry,
actually
continue.
be awesome.
Technically, the best video game movie ever is Angry Birds, I think, right? Or at least it was. That was the first one that got a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, which is the arbiter of what's good or not.
What about the original Mario movie?
I like what they were going for. It was basically
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner for kids.
Yeah.
For some reason. But the Gran Turismo, here's the kind of like thing where you go, oh, okay, that's what it is. It's about people playing Gran Turismo. It's based on a true story about someone who won a contest for being really good at Gran Turismo, I think, and then gets to drive an actual race car. So kind of
Wow.
like,
That makes sense, I guess.
yeah. So he's not adapting Gran Turismo. I know that's going to disappoint KFP here.
I
So I was
mean,
really looking forward to that.
I mean, what would the movie be if they were adapting it?
I don't know.
You'd
Well,
literally
that's-
just watch cars.
That's what's so
going around
interesting
in
to me.
circles.
What would it be? Like, you know that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I joked when you asked what the next movie he's making before you even said it was a video game adaptation. I said it was gonna be another Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, okay.
So what a
kinda is,
weird-
yeah.
We're due for another Gone 60 Seconds movie.
Are we?
Yeah, bring back Nicolas Cage. How many were there?
One. So yeah, we're definitely due for
Are you
another.
sure they didn't make like a Gone in like 30 seconds or something?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so. Let me see. Gone. Maybe they did. You know how they always release like video knockoffs of movies. Like when Transformers came out, there was Transmorphers. So that when parents go to rent the movie for their kids, they accidentally grab the wrong one. That's what it sounds like. If they came out Gone in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
KFP, what's Adam doing? He's left the corner. I'm a little worried. I'm hearing a lot of weird noises behind me.
He's probably eating another one of those freezer pops.
Yeah,
He loves it. He loves it.
he does. He's been eating these. So he found, you know, those freezer pops you'd have as a kid where you push it out and it's like a long popsicle basically.
Yeah.
But these ones are made out of Pedialyte. So it's only like 15 calories. Great for hangovers.
And they're weirdly
Keeps
salty.
you hydrated.
They just taste good.
Well, Pedialyte is supposed to be salty because it's
Yeah.
replenishing your
We like salt.
electrolytes. I don't know.
It sounds like you don't like it as much.
Nino Campisi says we need a Tetris movie. Interesting story about that.
That could be cool.
What would it be? For
Well,
you?
I think it should be a psychological thing, like involving the Tetris effect and all that.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Actually, I have a question here. Okay, people in the chat, feel free to chime in. This is something. It's one of those things you've always wanted to know, but you're too afraid to ask. But what is your going to sleep ritual when you close your eyes? Like, you can't just turn off your brain. Your brain is doing something. What does your brain do when you're trying to sleep? What do you think of to get that going?
You asking us?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my trick is just to use my phone, scroll Twitter, watch YouTube
For about 3.5 hours.
until I'm just like, ugh, and then I'm like, all right, put my phone down, and then I'm out. in
What
a few
about
seconds.
pre-phones when you were a kid?
I think I would roll around for a while. Just
cry for a while until I ran out of tears, and then
Jesus, bed soaked.
Yeah.
From tears.
Thank you for joining us here on this very special episode. All right, go ahead though. What did you actually do?
I mean, you know my memory. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why
I feel like
that. Yeah.
I feel like I remember just rolling around a lot, being very uncomfortable. My sheets would get all messed up and it'd drive me crazy. And I'd literally just sit in bed for a while until I wake up and can't remember when I fell asleep.
Adam told us that when he was a kid, and I'm kind of stealing his thunder here because he loves to say this, but Adam, he didn't know you were supposed to close your eyes. So growing up, he would just sit in bed with his eyes wide open, and it just took forever for him to finally fall asleep.
I had a roommate that slept with his eyes open. It's pretty creepy because one night I had to like go out of the dorm to go to the bathroom. I walked right by him and I didn't know he did that. So I just see him like staring at me like, I'm like, hey, you all right? And he's just not responding. I'm like, all right. And
wait, so he was awake, but
no, he sleeps with his eyes open.
Oh wait, what? Adam sleeps with?
No, not Adam.
Oh, okay,
it just reminded me one of my roommates in college.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
So the next day I asked him about it. He's like, oh yeah, no, I don't know why. I just sleep with my eyes open sometimes.
Kind of like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Now, Adam just yelled, by the way. He said, that's what I was thinking. Daniel, what about you? What's your go-to sleep routine?
Like my whole habit before I go to bed now?
Just, once you're in bed, what does your brain do? That's what I'm curious
It
about.
starts around 4 p.m. Yeah. I like to dial down the caffeine
Daniel
intake.
is very meticulous about protecting his sleep. Like he's probably pissed right now about these blue lights back here. You know?
Yeah, that
we
is
have
not
the
good.
Blue screen.
If I'm having trouble sleeping, something I try to do is I just start counting back from 100,000.
Holy crap.
That's what I used to do.
It actually does put me to sleep.
How far do you get?
I usually only make it
Zero.
to like 20 and then I lose track and then I start over.
But you
or
only
something
make
like
it to 20? So you get all the way to almost zero and then you screw it up?
You should start at 980. Wait, what did you say? 100,000?
100,000.
Sorry, 900.
It's when you're tired, it's really hard to keep track of.
99,000. All right,
It's really hard. It's really hard.
Back in the when we were kids and we went to temple, I would
Whoa.
I never called it temple.
Reveal that on here.
I always called it synagogue.
I would stand there, and the way I would occupy my brain is I would just see how high I could count.
So
that
you
was
guys
the
were like
track.
opposite.
I counted primes.
Primes.
Who is it? There's some character in some like show or something.
Oh,
that counts
Sheldon,
primes.
probably. Big Bang Theory.
It's
not
some like
that.
savant.
Yeah,
It's like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Anyone
Is it
remember
Ender's Game? No.
No, it was something pretty recent, I think. Where like to calm themselves down, they would start counting
Oh.
primes. Yeah. The boys.
I was
going
gonna say Stranger Things, the girl, but it's not.
No, I don't think so.
Does anybody know?
All right, so these days, yeah, if anybody knows, chime in. So these days, like, you'll just count down from 100,000, and that's how you fall asleep. So for me, years, like almost as long as I can remember, I think since early elementary school. What?
Just Jay's comment.
Jay's. Adam's ritual is thinking about how many people give him compliments on live streams.
So you were talking about our sleeping rituals. This guy says Adam's ritual is thinking about how many people give him compliments in the live streams.
That's why I'm walking by Adam's room and I just hear, who's that handsome devil? Oh, it's me. Oh, nice to By the way, Top Shelf Fandom, love the content. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you, Top Shelf Fandom.
Thank you.
By the way, your name sounds like, doesn't that sound like he probably has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, let's see. If it is, everyone check out Top Shelf Fandom. I hear he does great work. He has great taste, at least, in other YouTube channels. And by the way, before we get to what I do for my sleep ritual, we have a few answers here in the chat. Cole Schramm says he has a fan blasting in the room.
I just remember what it's from.
Oh.
It's from the show based on the As Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
It's that girl, in Foundation.
I really wanted that show to be awesome. I really did.
That was disappointing.
I liked it at first. I really did. Nino Campisi, David Attenborough nature docs. I could see how that would work pretty well, help you fall asleep. Not because they're boring, but they'd probably lull you into a slumber. Donnie D. When I have trouble falling asleep, I usually take some sleeping pills and tequila.
Sounds like Max Payne.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of picturing.
Why did you made it sound cool? I don't know if it's a good message.
Yeah, I'm
well,
romanticizing.
It's like how cigarettes look cool in movies.
Cigarettes look very cool.
Yeah.
Adam?
That is cool.
Yeah, Adam says, Donnie D, what you do is very cool, per Adam.
Yeah. I mean, consult your doctor.
Yeah, I would say that. Consult your doctor.
We're
We're not
not
giving medical advice.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say if you took sleeping pills and tequila, you probably would, I don't know, fall asleep, but at least pass into a different state of consciousness than you're in right now.
I mean, I heard. Joe,
I'm not even going to repeat that.
I mean, I heard that usually in those situations, the pills and alcohol combined just increase the effects of both.
I think we should, just to be safe, let's just move on from this topic.
We don't condone any of this.
So my sleeping ritual
is I get tequila.
Ever since, you stole my joke.
I
was going to say, back when I was in elementary school, my parents would give me some tequila and sleeping pills. What I would do, I would lay in bed and I would start to watch a movie. I would just start to make up different movies. And like each night, I would try and think of what happens next. And sometimes they were adaptations. So I would think of like, if I were to do it, so I loved Punisher as a kid, and I really wanted them to do a great movie or show about it. When the Thomas Jane movie was coming out, I was so hyped for it. I don't think they ever really did it justice until the Netflix show, then season 2.
Wait, what show?
Punisher.
Oh, Punisher.
Yeah.
I heard you say like Thomas Jane. I'm like, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I heard that.
He showed up in Arrested Development for a while, actually.
Who is that?
Thomas Jane.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you said before?
Yeah.
Oh, you really did. And then you said Punisher. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, every night I would just do the next installment of my movie. And for a while, I was trying to figure out a Tetris movie. And I took the angle you said.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what if somebody... So there's something called the Tetris Effect. It's a real kind of recognized psychological effect where if you play a lot of Tetris, you're going to dream of Tetris. And if you just close your eyes during the day, you might start to see tetrominoes, which is a correct term for Tetris pieces. You'll see them just start to fall. And which I've experienced that before. I've also had it with, if you go snowboarding all day, for example, later you sit down and close your eyes, you suddenly feel like you're going down a hill.
With any like repetitive practice, like if you're like in a sports practice or something and you do like a drill over it. When I was a kid, that would happen. Like we did a soccer drill over and over. I couldn't sleep because I'd be like still doing it.
I played sports as a kid.
Yeah. It also happened with football drills, with track drills.
Bodybuilding,
being cool drills.
I didn't know it was a sport.
All right, go ahead, Alon.
I was just gonna say, actually,
enough
recently, you know that barbecue I went to, that you can make. I met a guy there that actually used to play Tetris competitively.
Really?
I forget if I told you. I asked him about the Tetris Effect. He's like, yeah, I would see the pieces falling and everything.
That's I thought in college.
You gotta come next time.
When I was in college, I thought about taking on the high score of Tetris. I remember I got a Game Boy, I brought it to campus, and then I saw how high the score was, and I tried a few times. It was pretty much unachievable, but I was really into Tetris for a while.
Yeah, just so you know, I asked them, I heard that the Game Boy version is like the quintessential version.
Yeah.
He said no.
Really?
NES.
Oh, now that you say that, I feel like I heard that in a video recently.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Jay Wilkes says we need Kelly here from the Insider Podcast to reel us in. All right, Daniel, Cinnabons. You made a cinnamon roll once, right? Wait, so did you check out Top Shelf Fandom's channel?
Yeah, he's got a good number of subscribers. You guys should go subscribe, get him some more.
All right, everyone check out Top Shelf Fandom. But I haven't watched it, so I can't vouch for the content there. But it
looks good from the thumbnails and titles.
Take that back. It's awesome. Go there and check it out, please. All right.
Yeah. I'll subscribe.
Oh, I have a question for Adam, actually. Adam, yes. Are you familiar with the term folie à deux?
Is it similar to like with all do? No,
it's a psychological concept or phenomenon. Okay, I was hoping you would know. It's basically the...
So like when you're near the edge of something, like the edge of a cliff, and you have the urge to like jump off.
Okay, Adam's asking, is it like when you're at the edge of a cliff and you have the urge to jump off?
The call of the void?
The call of the void. No. It's the idea of multiple people sharing the same mental condition, as though it spreads from one to the other. It's known to happen, especially with families, but not genetic. It's like somehow, just by being around the person, you somehow inherit it. You pick it up. That's the subtitle, or that's the title of the new Joker movie. Joker... Folie à deux.
Wait, what? They already released that?
They've said that's the title.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you an idea of where they're heading. Now, I mean, they're saying that Lady Gaga might play Harley Quinn, so I imagine maybe that's what they're referring to, like Joker's issues go to her, or they could be talking about how he kind of amasses a following of people and they end up sharing in his worldview.
Yeah, that kind of gives credence to the rumor that this is going to be a musical.
Yeah, that's the other rumor, that it might be a musical. That was on my topic list.
Sorry.
What do you think, though? Joker 2, musical with Lady Gaga?
I trust them, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be fun.
Daniel?
Yeah, the first one was good. Could be good. I don't know.
Well, what do you think about it being a musical?
I'm sure that'll be interesting. I didn't love the first one. I don't know.
I love.
I don't really get all that.
I would say overall, I loved the first one.
You like dark stuff.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just felt like to me it was boring. It was like kind of an easy movie to pull off, and just kind of felt obvious.
We have a huge Joker fan base here.
Well, I'll say this.
They don't like to hear that.
I don't think I was that impressed with the story. And I think kind of the consensus on the movie, not with everybody, obviously some people just love this movie and every aspect of it. But I think if you were to look at critics, a lot of them had a similar line of story's not that great, but Joaquin Phoenix's performance, like you can't look away. It's great. I would say I was kind of somewhere in between your view and that view.
Even his performance, I kind of felt like I thought he did a good job. I just felt like it was kind of an obvious character.
Oh, he's acting weird. How impressive.
They already did that in the Batman movie.
Yeah, that is true. Like
that's kind of how I
sometimes
felt. Yeah.
People playing villains get a lot of credit. And I feel like it's sort of a crutch when you have this like weird way of talking, like Heath Ledger Joker in Dark Knight. Like most characters do not lend themselves to having such a noticeable, odd way of speaking that you might have a great performance, but it's not as noticeable because it doesn't have such a loud, like weird thing to notice.
Yeah, like I think like Jimmy McGill is a way more interesting character to play. Like I think there's so much more subtlety.
I agree with that.
Like, and I don't think I don't know if he's like the best actor in the world, but I think clearly he crushes that performance. And to me, that's like a subtle, interesting character.
Yeah.
The Joker, it's like it kind of feels easy.
But, by the way, we got Justin in the chat. Our friend. Hey,
Justin, how's it going?
He said that the title of the Joker 2 movie is the same name as a
Fall Out Boy
album.
#emo.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have appearance.
Possibly. Well, considering that it's potentially a musical, as they're saying.
Oh.
All right. My thoughts on Joker 2. Like I said, I'm somewhere in between Daniel and kind of that mainline critic thing that we've heard a million times, great performance or whatever. So I'm curious about a sequel, and I'm not, musicals hit or miss for me. I'm not totally against the musical genre, but I at least like the fact that I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like DC gives more leeway to its creators. It allows them more creative freedom than Marvel, for example, where every movie, there's kind of this thing. Some people will say every Marvel movie is the same. Right? I'm not going to say that, but inarguably, every Marvel movie is an action comedy. You go over to DC, you can have vastly different tones from one movie to another. And of course, there is no strict canon between them. You can go to a different continuity in the Batman movie, for example. So this at least continues my impression that DC is giving more creative freedom. I don't think we're seeing a Marvel musical anytime soon. So I at least like that. And again, I don't know if it's true. Like maybe this is purely a business decision where WB says, hey, if we appear like we're giving more creative freedom, maybe we'll make more money. Or maybe it's a happy medium where they get more money, but also they give more creative freedom. So who knows?
You should make a video at some point about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode.
I don't know. Joss Whedon's like a little toxic right now. I don't know if I want to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Why would you even bring that up?
I'm sorry. We could bleep that out when we post it.
This is live.
Well, yeah, but when it lists.
Beep. Anything else you guys want to bring up or say before we wrap up? I'll do my fun fact, of course.
Oh, I didn't know Adam was sitting there. I thought I heard like chewing and stuff.
Yeah, there's stairs over there. So Adam is sitting up there like a gargoyle staring down at us right now.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I feel like crumbs like falling on me.
I know his Pedialyte push pop is just dripping on us right now. Okay, Adam has one thing to say.
Recently rewatched
Adam just recently rewatched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. The first 3, not Hobbit. So I'm assuming you're talking about that animated Beatles movie, right?
What?
I think the Beatles were trying to make I think I'm crossing wires here. There was an animated movie, and then the Beatles were.
I do want to watch the animated Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings. What am I saying here? The Beatles attempted to make a big screen adaptation of Lord of the Rings. It didn't happen. Separate from that, there was an animated movie. Sorry. Okay, Peter Jackson. Yeah.
The first 3. They're so good.
They're so good, he says.
They made me very emotional.
They made him very emotional. Extended cut or original?
I was on a plane, so it was only the original, but the extended ones were the way to do it.
He was on a plane. It was only the original. You know, Shataz text.
Make sure they know that I believe the extended are better.
Adam says he believes the extended ones are better, but he was on a plane, so he had no choice. Shataz texted me the other night saying he wants to cover all 3 Lord of the Rings movies on the podcast. And I said, we got to get Adam for that.
I'll be there.
Got to get Adam for that.
Last thoughts. We've also been watching a lot of Trailer Park Boys lately.
Oh, that was on my list, actually.
Oh, were you going to cover it?
No.
Oh, sorry. Well, because it also connects to our sleeping routine.
Mm.
Because last night I was like so tired. I like got in bed at like 9 p.m. and I was like, you know, I'm gonna watch some Trailer Park Boys as I fall asleep. So that was part of my routine last night.
All right, sweet.
I think I watched 2.5 before I woke
Yeah,
up.
we've been
Like at like 1 a.m. Like, okay, I gotta go get ready.
yeah, it's not healthy, right, Daniel? Sleep hygiene?
What a great
Very
show.
poor sleep hygiene.
Yeah, terrible.
Unless you're wearing your blue light blocking glasses.
What about
you
mine?
watch Trailer Park Boys.
Like the making movies in my head when I sleep.
I think it's a good one.
All right, cool.
Did you write them down?
That's actually something they recommend. It's like
That's like-
visualizing different worlds.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry Seinfeld just woke up laughing and he like wrote down his idea that he thought of. Then the next day he can't read his like scribbles.
And then they say he needs to bring it.
What?
Don't mess with John.
Oh, don't mess with John. That was one of the things somebody thought it said, right?
They told him to bring it to a doctor, or no, to a pharmacist.
Yeah, because they have
they're really-
terrible handwriting.
No, because doctors have bad handwriting.
What? Yeah.
Because doctors have bad handwriting, so pharmacists know
true.
how to read it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, all right, Trailer Park Boys, you've been watching that. We love this show.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it for like almost 20 years, right? It's been on
Yeah.
since like 2000, I think.
2001.
How many seasons are there?
I think there's like 14.
Oh, wow.
Something. It's up there.
Yeah, and like the most recent,
And
there was an animated
Yeah.
version of it recently. I mean, it's basically the most recent season was animated because it picked up where the show left off.
Yeah, I heard that. So it ended, I think, and then Netflix bought it and brought it back. And
Maybe, I
then
don't know.
the 3 guys are like friends in real life, and they bought the rights back and started their own streaming service and released another season there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's a mockumentary, kind of like The Office style, about a couple guys who live in a trailer park, and they're just always getting up to different schemes.
Kind of like Always Sunny.
Kind of like Always Sunny, but a little bit more heartwarming. And I would say like things often don't go well,
Yeah.
but you don't walk away feeling dirty, I'd
Yeah.
say. Like there's a certain optimism underneath the surface that I really enjoy. Yeah, Sean, that's a great point. I guess that doesn't bode well for the movies I've been thinking of, since they literally put me to sleep every night for years.
Well, it's so good. I want to watch it until I fall asleep.
Yeah, you're holding on to
Yeah.
consciousness as long as you can.
Yeah.
Okay, fun fact.
Yeah.
All right, Jay Wilkes, I'm about to blow your mind. You're going to want to sit down for this. Anyone standing, sit down. Someone's like going for a jog right now, and they just, like one of those goats, they just freeze up and fall over. Okay, here's a fun fact from my past. There's one movie I can point to, one specific movie that got me obsessed with movies. Like if I were to trace one take all the way back to the beginning, what's the thing that got me to read a lot more about movies, start to look at the behind the scenes of movies, and basically interact with them as more than just a consumer, where I go to the theater, the movie washes over me, and then I walk out and really think about it again. One movie changed all that.
The Rugrats Go on Vacation.
No, it wasn't that. It was Rugrats. What was it called? The one where they met
Paris.
wild thornberries.
Oh, I
Anyway.
was so disappointed that was the new Rugrats movie.
Rugrats Go
Oh,
Wild.
yeah.
I was gonna say Rugrats Gone Wild. That's not right.
No, that's not right at
okay,
all.
Lon, I think I told you this recently, but I felt like you wanted to say something.
No, I'm just trying to remember because it sounds familiar. Like you've told me this.
Yeah. All right. The movie. This is shocking. You're gonna be like,
All right,
what?
spell it one letter at a time.
Yeah,
All right.
first letter.
No, you can.
All right, I'll
there
just
we
say
go.
it. Ready?
No, first letter.
Okay. I. N.
Independence Day.
No. IND.
Indiana Jones. And
A-
the Kingdom of the Crystal
Oh
Skull.
yeah.
That's right.
Okay, I remember
Indiana
now.
Jones and the Kingdom
Yeah.
of the Crystal Skull. Like, what? That movie, it wasn't even good. What are you talking about? And also, that movie kind of came out pretty late in your lifespan so far. So, like, I thought you were into movies since you were a kid. That makes no sense. Okay, let me explain. When I was in elementary school, I was at summer camp, and they rolled in the. Remember back in school when they'd roll in that TV
Yeah.
on the wheels, and we were doing a movie day at summer camp, and we watched, I think, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I think that's the one we watched. And just during the movie, this counselor standing next to me, he looks at me and he goes, they're making a fourth one. I was like, what? And my mind was completely blown. I was like, what inside line does this guy have? Because to me at the time, movies were like handed down from God. They just showed up in the theater. The only little window I had into what movies were coming up next is that when you went to the theater, there were these little pamphlets that would list out all these upcoming movies.
I missed that, man.
Which is a little paragraph with a short synopsis. But these were impending movies that were about to come out. They weren't movies that were years away from development. Like, Variety mentions that this person just signed on to make this movie. So my brain just exploded that this person knew that an Indiana Jones 4 was in the works, literally more than a decade before it actually came out. So I remember that day going home, and there was this new thing out, this internet, and I searched probably, what would I have searched on back then?
AOL keyword.
AOL keyword search, typed in Indiana Jones 4, and then I found this website. I don't think it exists anymore, upcomingmovies.com. And I saw, there's all this news about an Indiana Jones 4. There's news about a Rocky 6. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's become like an adult website.
No. It literally just redirects to somebody's Facebook profile.
Yeah, that's really
Not even a Facebook page. A Facebook Wait, is it? No, it is a page. He's a writer. This guy, guys, everyone go to upcomingmovies.com and like this guy's page. He's a writer.
Only 504 likes.
Yeah, what's funny is I checked out this website a few years ago, and it redirected to a yahoo.com website where I think they bought this website.
Oh yeah, I spelled it right.
But all right, there you go.
Weird.
So yeah, I just started to see all these movies that were in development, and then I started looking up. I was like, every single movie I like has a sequel in development. I was like, hey, Ellen, they're gonna make a Rocky 6. They're making a Terminator 3. They're making an Indiana Jones 4.
You're crazy.
And that's what I was told, not by you, but our older brother. He was telling me, like, are you stupid? They're not making a Rocky 6. They're not making a Terminator 3. And then every few years, I was like, I told you so. And then he's like, yeah, but did you actually watch the movie? And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't great. Rocky 6 was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
So I remember that
Rocky
was
Balboa.
kind of the introduction for me. That was the introduction to that's what made movies real. They weren't just this thing that came out of nowhere and just into the theater. People made them. I started to see the sausage making, and that's what I was like, oh, you can make movies, you can read about movies.
It's a raven here.
That's where it all started.
So that one flickers too.
Maybe that could be the one that the one that flickers. We need to stop putting it here, and then every time we have to guess which is the one that flickers.
I mean, it lasted a while.
Yeah, so Top Shelf Fandom, you are correct. It wasn't really about the movie itself. It was about the fandom around it, the development. It was just the first movie that introduced me to the development cycle of movies, where I started to read about them online. I became addicted after that. Great, now none of us are going to sleep well.
Of the blue light.
Yeah, KFP. I age like Mike's granddaughter. That's the one thing with Better Call Saul versus Breaking Bad, years apart. His granddaughter just does not age. And yeah, apparently, I was in elementary school when Scary Movie came out, when Indiana Jones 4 came out. I remember back in 5th grade, Top Gun 2, Maverick, great movie. I'm like that guy in Slaughterhouse 5, Unstuck in Time. I don't know if that's what it's about. I never read that book.
I don't know if
I read it, but I don't remember.
Okay, was it about somebody that saw Top Gun 2?
It sounds
and Scary
familiar.
Movie in the same
Yeah.
year? All right. Dylan says, this is one of the cliche answers, but seeing 2001: A Space Odyssey as a kid. We
sorry.
clicked it at the same time.
Yeah, it seemed like you weren't going to click it.
Even though I didn't get the movie and was bored by it in some parts when I was younger, it really changed how I viewed film. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty mind-blowing movie. I think one of the things that movie does really well is that it gives you the feeling like you're about to actually reveal some truths about the universe. Like if you see just a crazy sci-fi movie with aliens attacking and all this stuff is happening constantly, your brain just says, I'm watching a movie. But 2001, the pace is so slow and deliberate, you feel like you're actually seeing things you shouldn't see. Like you're seeing the dawn of mankind. It has this feeling of verisimilitudinous. That's how I would describe it. And it is a very slow-paced movie. And it's one of those movies that I think it wants you to think not to be like, oh, you weren't thinking when you watched it, but that is something different. Like there's a lot of movies where you just go with the movie. You're constantly entertained. There are parts of 2001 where essentially nothing is happening for a few minutes. And I think Stanley Kubrick wants you to sit there and ponder what you saw, ponder what's going to happen, and almost meditate with it. And if you don't do that, and I'll say the first time I watched it, I didn't, you will be bored. And actually, if you're looking for a good way to fall asleep, then want 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know? All right. Yeah, KFP. This is what always happens. Like, if you ever hear me say, all right, I think I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes, basically you can count on another 30 to 40 minutes.
I mean, one day we'll probably have an actual set start time and end time and stick to it.
But I think here,
Not yet,
I don't know, every time I do this, I'm dripping onto the laptop. It's I keep thinking I should drink like this, but it's every single
You should get,
time.
like one of those straws,
Off here.
crazy straws.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Or I'll just go with the push pops, Adam, like the ones Adam
That'll
had.
definitely drip. Camelback.
You could have a push pop held by like that arm.
You could just a straw right here.
You want to hear
mic.
a weird? You know what? I'm gonna save this.
Save it for the next.
Yeah, this is
stream.
another fun fact. I'm gonna save it for another stream.
Or save it for the Patreon.
All right, there, KFP. I got something great coming for you later tonight. Okay, with that, thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. This was fun. This is what I wanted. I wanted these live streamers to be real casual. You know, I'll have some topics. Maybe we'll cover some of them. But really, it's about what Jay wants to talk about, or KFP, or Michael Reichman, or Dylan S. Top Shelf Fandom. It's about you, wonderful people.
Or me.
Or Daniel. You can bring topics to the table if you want. With that, thank you all for joining. This was awesome. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for more. If you just want to listen to us in your ears, probably involving the eardrum. I don't know what does the eardrum do, Daniel?
The eardrum?
I mean, I'm sure it's involved in the process.
I'm remembering the ear has a lot of little hairs in it that like respond to sound. The drum might be one of I think the drum's one of the membranes that like responds to the
You're
vibrations.
gonna give people nightmares tonight. There's hair in my ears. If you want that eardrums, then you can find us in any podcast app. Just search.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, we've got an exclamation here. This is what we're gonna end on. Adam's here. Okay. It's like think of it like.
Wait, let's get him set
All
up
right,
with the mic.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay. You'll hear it from the man himself.
Adam, hop over the railing.
Think of it like a radar dish, but for collecting sound. And so it vibrates with all the other sound out there, and then it kind of causes the signal to get consolidated into something more easily processed by your brain.
So
That didn't help.
basically what I said.
Why did our viewer count just go down by half?
And we just got demonetized.
It's like a collection. It's a membrane that collects all the sound.
2 hours later. it's like think about like a drum, but it's not a drum. Okay, it's with that. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, I'll just say
KFP says this is helping me sleep.
that's great. Hey, you know what? Some of my favorite podcasts I listen to help me fall asleep. But hey, we've got two different flavors of podcast. This is the casual live stream. It's going to go in a lot of unexpected directions, like a real life conversation. Okay. But if you don't like this, if you're like, come on, guys, like you're talking about Gran Turismo for 2 seconds and all of a sudden you're talking about eardrums. No. I want one topic for 2 hours. Okay. That's fine. One take podcast. We'll pick a topic. We talked about Blade Runner this week for a couple hours. We did an episode about Wilder Napalm. I think we've got a episode coming up. Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. We're going to talk about that video game. So that one person in here wanted to hear about video games. That one's going to be perfect.
We want to talk about video games.
Be very structured too. And that's true, Jay. Better Call Saul's back in 2 weeks. Better believe that we'll be back to talk about it. Okay, don't even try to not believe it, because we are going to talk about it.
Instant take.
Full episode later in the week.
Later.
All right, we got to shut this down. Okay. Hey, everybody, you're awesome if you're listening. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next One Take.